digital audio tape. And some people have said it's going to revolutionize the sound recording industry. In particular, companies making compact discs, it's been prophesied, could be driven out of business. Well, today we're not just going to talk about DAT, we're going to have a demonstration. Audio journalist Bob Tomasky has brought in several large and impressive-looking boxes of gear. Two digital audio tape recorders, one from Technics called the SVD 1000 and one from Sony called the BBC 1000. The machines use these DAT tapes, and really the technology is borrowed from video. They're about conventional audio cassette, totally sealed. In fact, the tape runs in the machine extremely slowly, just the same as on a video machine, about 8 millimeters per second. But the actual machine has got a rotary recording head that whizzes round at a terrific speed, in fact, about 2,000 revolutions per minute. Let's actually put the tape in the machine and see what happens. I'm opening the drawer on the machine and putting the tape in and closing the machine. Instantly, the clock on the machine tells us that we're in fact a few seconds into the tape and that we're on track number 1. And I'm going to push play. And the sound quality is very similar to that of CD. It's really impressive quality, I have to say.
As the tape is going through on the machine, there is a clock on there which is reading down as to the number of seconds left on the tape. In fact, I can actually push buttons on to find out how much time is left on the tape or how much time has elapsed. There's a music search facility on there, which means that if I've got, say, 20 or 30 tracks on the tape, and remember, tapes are available right up to 2 hours in length, so I could have 20 or 30 tracks of music on there, I can tell it quickly to go directly to a track. In fact, the machine will search for a track at 200 times the normal playing speed.
That one you've just played on is quite impressive. The one at the bottom of the machine is terribly impressive. I've never seen so many buttons on not all that big a machine. It's the same sort of size module as a normal tape you'd have in your home. What are all the buttons for?
Yes, it is the same size, but it has more buttons because it can do more things and things slightly differently to the Technics. The Technics machine's great point is that it reads the time code off the tape directly. The Sony doesn't have that, but the Sony does have one facility which is very, very interesting. It has a facility which is called Skip. We can make a recording on the machine, and then after you've made the recording, you can play the tape, you can play it back. And whilst you're playing the tape back, you can put what are called skip tracks on the machine. When the machine comes across a skip track, it will then very fast forward onto the next piece of recording. Well, here's something actually I've recorded from BBC World Service earlier on this morning. It's a tune that I'm sure will be very familiar.
Just don't panic, because it's not actually time for the news, but just listen to what happens at the end of Lily Valero.
Normally there would be the time pips, but I've edited them out.
BBC World Service, the news, read by Frederick Payne.
Remember, you're not actually removing these sounds from the tape, you're skipping past them. They are actually retained on the tape. I could play that tape again, and you would hear it exactly as it happened, complete with the time pips and with the identification for the news programme.
While that wasn't happening, so you weren't achieving an absolute cut as you would with the red.
Indeed, no, it can't get as a razor blade. The machine does search very quickly. In fact, 200 times is the search speed. But when it's in the skip search, the search speed is slightly less. So don't imagine for 1 minute that you're going to get a tape where there's totally uninterrupted music. That can't be the case.
Well, it's pretty impressive, I have to say. How does it compare, would you say, with the ways we have already? That's to say, we've got the good old-fashioned LP, we've got reel-to-reel tape, we've got, nearly everybody's got a cassette tape, and there's now compact disc. How does this compare with those four?
Well, it's better in sound quality than conventional vinyl discs. It's lower in noise than open-reel tape and cassettes. Sound quality is about the same as that as on compact disc. But on compact disc, the search speed or the access time is far, far quicker than on DAT. Compact discs also don't wear out. There is no physical contact between the disc and the laser on a compact disc player. On DAT, the tape is in direct contact with a rotary head which is spinning at a very fast speed. So in terms of longevity, the cassettes, the DAT cassettes, will not last as long. They will not last forever. And in terms of finding a track very, very quickly, well, CD scores in that respect. But the important point about DAT, that for the first time, somebody in the home will have a recorder which will record very high quality sound with a minimum of fuss. Assuming we have two machines here, it is possible not just to copy from one machine, but I use the word clone. It is possible to make an indistinguishable copy by directly dubbing from digital to digital. And this is the subject of a great deal of controversy.
Well, as I'm always one for new toys, I'd like to have one. Could I get one?
No, not at the moment. Well, certainly not in Europe and not in the United States. But in Japan you can. They're on sale on the home market. Both these machines, in fact, are Japanese models and brought in from the Japanese home market.
So if I were in Japan and could lay my hands on one, how much would I have to pay?
Well, both machines are around about the same sort of cost. Typically the Sony's about 198,000 yen. Well, that's around about, converted into sterling, about £850.
Well, that sounds rather a lot of money, but maybe I could save up my yen. And what about the cost of the actual tapes?
Well, tapes are available in various different lengths. The longest tape is 2 hours. In Japan at the moment it's selling for about 2,000 yen, which is approximately £9. There are one or two British importers who are already bringing in tapes for people who might come into this country from Japan, and they're charging around about £14 in the UK for a 2-hour tape.
Well, in terms of cost, that's more or less the same as a compact disc, but it's been said that this new DAT is going to completely demolish the compact disc and put it off the market. What do you think about that?
Well, that's been said because it is possible to make such high-quality copies, and it's feared that the DAT machine will allow lots of people to make copies of CD. In fact, one or two journalists have said that the format will wipe out CD overnight, make it obsolete overnight. But I don't agree. Somebody who's considering buying a compact disc player, at the moment they're quite reasonably priced here in the UK, somewhere in the order of about £200, is not going to even consider spending close on £900 or even more when they come into the UK for one of these machines. I would say that the machine is complementary to CD, and in the initial stages is going to sell to the real hi-fi fan, the real buff, and more importantly perhaps to the broadcaster and to the professional who has got a medium here of a very small lightweight tape which will give broadcast quality sound without any problem and with the minimum of fuss.
Thanks, Bob Tomalski. We've been looking at a new way of sound recording, digital audio tape. Now, you have to remember, this wasn't a review of equipment, and we haven't got any written information on the subject, so please don't write letters to us about it, because we just won't be able to answer them. But let me leave you with some music from one of these excellent machines. By the way,